Okie dokie. Deck tech. Yeah. So let's try the budget version now. And yes, I know. Part of me feels like maybe I shouldn't be trying this because I feel like maybe I'm, for some reason, not in the right mono black state of mind right now. Maybe. Um, then again, I did go 4-1 with essentially the same list, just with a few minor differences, which I'll get to in a second. I did go 4-1 with basically the same list not so long ago. Um, but of course, some less than a little bit disappointing, not gonna lie, leagues with the Obosh and the companionless version. That being said, I mean, the fact that I did go 4-1 with this budget list right before that means that maybe maybe part of it is also like, I definitely do think my play was a little bit not as good, but something about this deck I think also just kind of lends itself to being able to play a little bit smoother, a little bit easier, if you will. Like, I think there's something a little more intuitive about the kind of mono black approach here, and this definitely may not be a permanent change, but there's something I definitely like about the main deck Lithoform Blight idea. It's always at least draws a card. In a land of Urza Saga, being able to hit Urza Saga for 2 mana, sometimes that's even better than dealing with it with something like Field of Ruin. I mean, of course, like in the Obosh deck, we don't really have a choice. Evil Presence out of the sideboard, which is not a main deckable card by any stretch of the imagination. Lithoform Blight is barely main deckable, but most people would say it isn't. They're wrong. I'm not saying it's like the best main deck card ever, but they're wrong. It's absolutely main deckable, because it draws a card essentially, and it deals with Urza Saga and other utility lands like Valakut, etc. But like, yeah, Field of Ruin is a little bit late to the party sometimes if they play Urza Saga on the play, or if they just are playing Tron on the play. Ditto here. Obviously, Break the Ice is something you have in the sideboard. Of course, we have Break the Ice too, but we also have Lithoform Blight in the main. There's something kind of elegant about this in that Lithoform Blight, as janky as it looks, I mean, it also kind of feeds into the aggro plan in that, yeah, it could color fix them, but I think more often than not, it's going to kind of tax their lands by forcing them to pay life. And that does feed into the kind of aggro-ish kind of, I mean, it's just definitely a mid-range deck, but the kind of aggro-ish mid-range kind of idea. The only thing, one of the things that gives me pause a little bit is I only am leaning on Nihil Spellbomb now for recursion element with Lurrus, but I think that mostly is fine. I mean, I am drawing a lot of cards with Cling to Dust, Lithoform Blight, cycling through my deck. Yeah, and and of course, good old Castle Locthwain. Plus, I mean, I have a little bit of thinning, which you really shouldn't be factoring it in for the most part, but a little bit of thinning with the fetch lands, which now they're all diversified a little bit. I mean, if you think about it, I got a lot of cards that they could name with Pithing Needle. I mean, I don't want to randomly get turned off from playing stuff with fetch lands if they name like the wrong fetch land. But anyway, okay. Also, just for purely aesthetic reasons, I've got 6 of these art and 1 of this art. It's the same art, just one is from Zendikar and the other one's from Zendikar Rising, or the expansion. I mean, the Return to Zendikar set, whatever that was called. It's just I just kind of like to see an even number. Don't judge, okay? I like to see 6 and 1 rather than 7. 7 is an odd number. I like to see even numbers, and 1. I like to see 1 and even numbers. That's kind of my little thing. And this is a cool way to do it. This is basically it's the same art, slightly different. This card has more space at the bottom, and this card probably looks a little bit nicer. So there's an argument to be made. Maybe this should be my 6 of, and this should be my 1 of. But don't judge. This is where I'm at, and I like it. Other than that, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot the slight changes. Besides, of course, the fetch lands being diversified to being 1 of each of the different types of fetch lands. I mean, I could make this last one a prismatic ending, but no, I don't. I think 4 and 7, like, yeah, 5 and 6 is running out of fetchable lands is very in the cards there. 4 and 7, I feel much more comfortable to not run out of fetchable lands. Yeah, I'm playing Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. I think this is mostly free. Blood Moon is the only real reason that this wouldn't be in the main deck. Sometimes it color fixes the opponent, but that happens so rarely that more often than not, it could color fix us with Blast Zone. But I think the main thing that this brings to the table is that later in the game, if I'm running too low on life, I can tap the fetch lands for black without cracking them. Plus, if I actually do run out of fetchable lands, This makes it so that the fetch land still can produce mana, which is nice. I mean, it's a one of, so like it's not going to come up that often. I think once you play 2 of these, then the negatives outweigh the positives. But if you play, because I mean, you have to draw 2, then you have to sack 1. But as long as it's only a one of, I think, yeah. And I think I already gave this shout out before, but in case I didn't, let's shout out JPP93. Thank you for suggesting this. I saw you playing it too, obviously, and it looked cool. It looked like, why am I not playing this? And thanks for suggesting it. And there's been others who've suggested it as well. I'm not sure if JPP was the first, but definitely. But that's the one that that sprung to mind. That was a cool game. I happened to be on Obosh Red, and JPP was on a version of my mono black deck. It was close. I managed to edge it out, ironically, because of Blood Moon. And with the one difference, I think they were shut off from 3 black. They had 2 black mana, and ironically, the Urborg was the 3rd black mana. So if that was a swamp, they probably could have played like multiple Turoks and Gatekeepers with the kicker and stuff, and that probably would have been GG for me. But Blood Moon saved the day, which is one of the only things that gives me a little pause for Urborg, is just a little bit worse against Blood Moon. Again, it is a one of though, so most of the time it's not going to come up, and I feel like most of the matchups, Blood Moon is not going to be our jazz. Then again, most matchups, the black effect is going to be kind of minimal. We only have 4 colorless sources, unlike the companion list and the Obosh list. See, in these lists, yeah, the Urborg effect could be much more dramatic with 8 colorless lands. But again, it seems free enough, and I could be totally wrong that maybe this should just be a basic swamp. But again, these fetch lands actually make it so that I can probably play around Blood Moon well enough if I fetch out swamps early enough. Anyway, yeah, and Victim of Night is the other change. This card is replacing Sudden Edict. Sudden Edict actually is mostly the same card. It's a little bit better against Murktide because sometimes they play Is It Murktide with Counterspell up, and Sudden Edict just says nice try. But most of the time though they can't really do that, or a lot of times like we have like a Gatekeeper in our hand too, and we could play that, like we could kind of bait the Counterspell almost, and then it's even better to have a Gatekeeper. So like one of the things about this is, for example, if they play Murktide, as long as we hold 2 black mana up, so we have to play a little carefully, we can end of turn Victim of Night the Murktide, and then on our turn play Gatekeeper. We won't always be able to do that, but it is it's something worth considering. It all just depends, I think. Like the more Murktide there is, the more Sudden Edict is extremely good. But the reason why I'm switching back to Victim of Night, and I realized why I kind of was on Victim of Night originally, I think I switched to Sudden Edict because I started seeing a lot of Murktide, and I kind of wondered, like, yeah, Sudden Edict, why was I not on this in the first place? And then I kind of realized the reason why Sudden Edict can fall a little short is that against like Hammer Time, they play a bunch of like 0/2 Ornithopters and 1/1 Mendknives and all these other things, and you're not playing the game of killing all their creatures, because most of their creatures are just literal cannon fodder. You're really playing the game of like holding up removal to target something where it gets hit by Hammer. And in that regard, Sudden Edict is mostly kind of just a waste of mana. I mean, it'll trade with some random Ornithopter or Memnite or something, which it's just mana disadvantage for us. We pay 2 to deal with something that costs 0 for them. Whereas this obviously could deal with like a Hammer, which costs 1, plus like it'll weigh the Sigarda's Aid because the Sigarda's Aid needs the Hammer. So, if we deal with something before it equips, kind of both of them don't really get their value. Bottom line is Victim of Night is way better against Hammer Time, and the reality is there just really aren't that many vampires, werewolves, or zombies that see a lot of modern play. The only time it's really bad is in a dedicated vampire, werewolf, or zombie deck. I'm not aware of any dedicated werewolf deck. It's probably out there, and I think I did see one once, only once, like literally once. It did seem kind of cool. I think most werewolves are a little bit overcosted. Maybe that changed with the new Innistrad block, but either way, vampire decks and zombie decks do exist. So hey, but you got to run the risk. I think most of the time this is going to be better. It's really only against those decks that this card is really kind of intolerably bad. And the reality is that while there are some random vampires like Bloodghast or random zombies like, I don't know, Gravecrawler or something, or Geralf's Messenger that kind of see play, the reality is most of those cards aren't exactly the best targets for this anyway, because they have some kind of recursion element. Most of the time, that's what makes like random zombies and vampires kind of playable outside of a vampire or zombie shell, is the recursion element. And most of the time, this is kind of better than Sudden Edict anyway against those decks, because most of the time we're kind of saving Victim of Night to hit something like, I don't know, Yawgmoth, or yeah, it's not Yawgmoth, it's Yawgmoth, or some other creature, like, I don't know, like Ox of Argonis and Dredge. Although admittedly, not being able to hit Prize of Amalgam sometimes is annoying, but that has a recursion element too, so that's not always the best hit. I mean, I guess Ox kind of does, but at least it costs 2 mana, and I don't know. Maybe I'm getting a little bit sidetracked, but the reality is, most of the time, this is going to be basically an Infernal Grasp here that, granted, costs 1 more black mana, but the fact that it doesn't lose life is pretty huge. Again, that's the reason why we're not playing Thoughtseize. It's just that the more cards you can draw with Castle Locthwain is excellent, and every 2 life you lose is possibly 2 less cards you can draw with Castle Locthwain, and I find that kind of unacceptable when you have a card that can give you such a huge advantage with paying life to just lose life willy-nilly. And yes, I know the fetch lands kind of violate that principle, but hear me out. The fetch lands just make Cling to Dust so much better. Number 1, they enable Cling to Dust to draw a card on turn 1 if you have them. Turn 1 fetch land, Cling to Dust your fetch land, because not every deck dumps an instant or sorcery or fetch land of their own into the graveyard on turn 1, like Hammer Time, especially the mono-white versions. A lot of times nothing hits the graveyard on their side on turn 1, and sometimes you just need to draw into more stuff, and hands that have a fetch land and Cling to Dust are just way more keepable than hands that have Cling to Dust with nothing like that. And Cling to Dust kind of makes up for it, because also the second thing about fetch lands with Cling to Dust is also they just fill the graveyard more, so you can escape this easier. And I think at the end of the day, Cling to Dust makes up for the random life loss you have to take with these, because you can eat a random creature either in your graveyard or theirs and gain 3 life, which again, 3 life is potentially 3 more cards. Maybe it's just kind of 2 more life because you had to lose like maybe 1 life in order to get the escape. But still, I mean, the fact that this gains life, I think, ends up making this a net positive. And obviously, it feasts off of the fetch lands in the graveyard. So this is kind of ended up going on for a while. So I think I've got to wrap this up. But yeah, and I think I already said Lithiform Blight, mostly for Urza Saga, to a lesser extent Tron. Comes on a turn 2, always draws a card, never super dead. Yeah, I did explain. But also sometimes they take random damage. If you hit their colored lands, take damage to play it for color from then on out. Collective Brutality, just a super versatile card. I think this is much better than Thoughtseize personally, at least in this deck, just because it deals with a creature that's already out, or it deals with an instant sorcery still in their hand. It can also gain 2 life, which again potentially can be 2 more cards. And it's also reach, which is always good. I'm in love with this card. I think this card adds a lot to black, and it's absolutely main deckable. Turok, a lot of times this card is the card that absolutely wins us games, because a lot of times it's hard for them to recover from an effective 3-for-1. Gatekeeper, yeah, this is kind of a budget Liliana the Veil. Actually, this was in a budget mono black decks that I played a long time ago, because Liliana's always been kind of stupid expensive. But the cool thing is that for once, we're actually kind of rewarded for playing this instead of Liliana, because this conflicts with Liliana conflicts with Luris. This, namely Gatekeeper Malakir, does not, so I love it. Inquisition is the perfect discard spell, in my opinion. You take no life loss, you can hit almost anything. Most of the stuff that sees play, at least. The vast majority of stuff that sees play. Fatal Push, best creature removal spell, printed in black, enough said. Yeah, and Nihil Spellbomb. Extreme Graveyard Hate. This is necessary. I mean, there's so much Drawn to the Lock that sees play. Dredge is out and about. I don't know what else to say. It's just so good. Clears their graveyard, clears your graveyard if it's Drawn to the Lock. You draw a card, and it also doubles as a recursion element with Luris. Yeah, even though like this is a budget deck, honestly, I probably would play Nihil Spellbomb over Mistress Bauble anyway, just because we kind of need this effect somewhere in the 75, and this is completely main deckable, and this frees up our more sideboard space playing it in the main, and it also just jukes random Dredge matchups, and of course, like I said, it's kind of a 2-for-1 against Drawn to the Lock, because if you clear your own graveyard, this actually hits the graveyard before it exiles the graveyard, so it'll clear your graveyard in response to Drawn to the Lock, and then unless Drawn to the Lock is targeting Hive of the Eye Tyrant, which is a land which has converted mana cost equal to 0, then basically if it's targeting anything else either on the stack or in play, Drown in the Luck will not do anything because your graveyard will be empty, and hence it will have converted mana cost less than Drown in the Luck. So yeah. Oh yeah, and of course Lurrus is everywhere too, so this can be played in response to Lurrus, Kroxa, with all these Rakdos mid-range decks running around, or Grixis Death Shadow decks, you name it. Yeah, anyway, enough said. And of course Blast Zone also great against all those random stuff, Ragavand. I mean, I'm actually finding Blast Zone to be such an amazing kind of flexible card. It started off as my Obosh kind of flex card when I noticed that like my deck was turning into a deck that could easily accommodate an extra colorless land, and when I started trying it in the mono black builds, I was really surprised. But in a world full of impressive one drops, Blast Zone suddenly is becoming such a valuable card. Yeah, I wasn't actually expecting to make this like a kind of full on thing, but I'm almost done. Break the Ice, mostly for Tron. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't really come in that much most other matchups, but man oh man, do we need this against Tron. Actually, we might even have a pretty good Tron matchup, maybe. Other versions, I'm not so sure, but this version has 8. Once we set and Break the Ice, this version has 8 ways to disrupt Tron on turn 2 before they can hit Tron mana, and Necromentia can name the remaining Tron land and then prevents them from getting Tron for the rest of the game, which is actually kind of sick. Break the Ice also, if they happen to have, if they're really all in on Urza Saga, or they play enough other lands that add colorless, so this won't be dead, can consider supplementing Lithiform Blight. Most of the time, Lithiform Blight is probably all the hate you need against Urza Saga, and it's much better because it's the same thing. It just draws a card against Urza Saga because it'll just immediately go to the graveyard when it wipes the abilities. But yeah, it's mostly for Tron. You could consider bringing it in other spots. Like against Hammer Time, sometimes I bring like 2 of these in, maybe more. I think usually like a 2-2 split, 2 Pithing Needles, 2 Break the Ice, just because they play Urza Saga, but they also play like Yawgmoth Nexus. So like when they have 8 colorless sources, this is like almost never dead, but whatever. Necromentia, like I said, kind of useful against Tron, but also useful against most combo. Against a lot of combo, we're just kind of stone cold without something to take their key combo pieces. Yeah, and the reality is, like most 2 or more card combos where they need to combine 2 cards when they go off, discard is kind of naturally good against that. So, but this is mostly kind of for like 1 card combos. But I mean, this can be useful against 2 card combos too. If you take like half of the combo, they can't do anything. But yeah, I mean, yeah, but 1 card combos like Scapeshift, for example, we can't really disrupt that just with our disruption because all they're just waiting to top deck something like Scapeshift, and then that's that. And of course, this removes it, and then that's that for them. Ratchet Bomb. So we need a way to deal with tokens, random artifacts, and enchantments. Other than just Blast Zone, Blast Zone can help too, but this mostly this deals with tokens actually, which otherwise can sometimes be a problem. It's also just kind of good and randomly against like Death Shadow and stuff. I mean, we already know Ratchet Bomb from the Mono Red Obosh deck, although check that out on my Magic Matt channel if you're interested in a Mono Red mid-range type of approach. And lastly, Pithing Needle, just extra Planeswalker hate, especially in this deck, which actually doesn't have a lot of dedicated. This deck does not play Murderous Rider and Swift End, so this version actually is a little bit colder to Planeswalkers. Not gonna lie, the Hive of the Eye Tyrant and Blast Zone sometimes can help a bit, but it would be kind of nice to have something like that. And Pithing Needle is the next best thing we have. Also against Tron, it can hit Expedition Map on turn 1. Just super versatile. It can hit like Thopter Foundry. It can hit like a lot of random stuff. Black doesn't necessarily have dedicated artifact or enchantment removal, and not like a ton of like outright Planeswalker removal. And Pithing Needle just kind of shores up a lot of that. Yeah, and I think that's kind of where we're at. Let's see how this goes. And this is a long deck tech, but hopefully I explained everything to your all satisfaction if you were scratching your head at the last league. All right, let's get to the games finally. Wow. All right, which one? Back to the budget build, and maybe the budget build actually turns out to be the best one. Not bad, not bad. Let's see. I don't think Prismatic Ending does that much against us. Spreading Seas seems freaking annoying. Let's get rid of Spreading Seas. Let's Lithofoam Blight that thing. I mean, might as well. Got nothing else to do. This will cause them to take some damage if they want to use it for color. So they have Counterspell, but Archmage's Charm is better. I'm surprised they didn't counter to protect Archmage's Charm, but hey, who are we to judge? They really want to signal to us that they're not mana screwed. If they want to counter it, that's fine. Okay. That's weird. They actually... I was expecting them to do that. Let's just play this out. I don't think we're going to get too many good opportunities. I'm going to Prismatic us. Okay, they're going to Prismatic us. I'll play that right in a counterspell. Oh, maybe. Yeah, this way we lose less life. Okay. Surprised I didn't counter this. Huh. Let's see. Alright, that's fine. I'm gonna keep up this plus ward. Okay. They should probably go for an attack because it will reduce my life total and my ability to draw cards. Well, okay. Do this right now before I lose more life. Dang, man, they just drew like exactly what they needed. One, two, three. Can't juice it all the way up just yet. I still have enough to play Fatal Push plus Ward if I play this. They tucked the Gatekeeper. I find that very fascinating. Let's see. So 3, 4, 5. So I have enough to Collective Brutality and very surprising. Should have gone after the blast zone, I think. Now they drew a counterspell. Okay. Little Teferi is making things a little bit complicated. This version has Turok, doesn't it? This version has Turok, yeah. Just not seeing it. Alright, this opponent thinks they're slick. You know, we have to deal with Shark Typhoon, unfortunately. We do beat control decks, but we have to like you know, Victim of Night is probably better because it can hit Solitude. Break the ice. Nah. Ratchet bomb actually. No, that doesn't hit. Oh, that does hit the Shark Typhoon though. Doesn't hit the Manlands. But we do have 8. No, just 4, I guess. Let the foam blight. Yeah, let's actually do let's do Ratchet Bomb. Yeah, I think that's like the best way to go about it. Okay. All right. All right, we'll keep. Okay. Unexplained pause. Urgh. Let's try to hit our land drops. I should have led on Collective Brutality. It's fine. Maybe because I want to hit my land drops. There we go. Actually, we want them to tap out for Teferi. If they don't, that's kind of a red flag. Okay. Alright, it's Turok time. Kasploosh. Blood Fountain, okay. Alrighty. I guess we'll lead off on Collective Brutality next.
just charm for sure. See if they try to defend it with a Shark Typhoon. Okay, it grows again, that's cool. Should we lock down Little Teferi? Good things almost always come to those who wait. Almost always. Okay, I kind of suspected that, but that's fine. I can snipe this off with Hive. Good thing I didn't they didn't realize they could prismatic ending as an instant. Alrighty. Somehow this random one is the other art. Anyway. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe I'll just play Ratchet Bomb. In case they got another giant Shark Typhoon. Playing it is probably worse. I guess they could prismatic ending this. If they do, that's fine. Chalice on 2. That's perfectly fine. Let's prismatic ending here. Unfortunately, we can't recur any of that, but still, getting Luris out seems like not a bad thing. Okay. Wait a minute, my music stopped. How do I turn it back on here? It's so laggy. Come on. Alright, well anyway, let's just do this. They couldn't actually. They couldn't prismatic ending because it says non-land. My bad. And my music, it's just not gonna be able to come back. It's so laggy over there. I could lose like 1,000,000 life and draw a card. It's probably worth it. Why aren't they putting Kira to hand, I wonder? Little Teferi. What did they bounce? Did they bounce anything? Can't even tell. Celestial Purge. Okay, I would not have named that. Shark Typhoon. Chalice and Memory Deluge. Chalice and Memory Deluge. I guess they want to wait until they can Memory Deluge and Flashback. That's going to take a long time. Oh, they bounced their own Chalice. I find that a little odd. Yeah, I could have played something. Why did they bounce their Chalice? Yeah, but now I made it so they can play Deluge and Flashback. Dang it, man. Ouch. Okay. Man, I could have stopped that with Cling to Dust, but it is what it is. Actually, I forgot I can't even play Cling to Dust as an instant, so I probably should have played it on their turn. Let's see. Ooh, Celestial Purge. But they could play Supreme Verdict as well. So I guess I have to play Archmage's Charm. I don't want to fairy drawing a card. So let's do this. I only have to name Castle Mantras now. They give up. Why? Why do they give up? Oh, because... But I didn't take Celestial Purge. Still find it odd that they gave up. We were down on the clock, actually. A lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm trying to get my music here to work. It's just not. Yep, it's completely frozen. So I'm gonna have to reopen this. Come on. Alrighty. It's not an excellent hand. However, I may want to play Turok because they don't have red. So turn 2 Turok might be able to pester them for quite a bit. Come on. Actually, we kind of want them to take their time. I might time out. Wow, my internet. I'm gonna have to close my browser or something. My internet is just lag central USA. Just lagorama USA. Need to restart my computer. It could be a mistake not to go for the Ratchet Bomb when I can, but I can't force negation this. It can grow with Collective Brutality, and we'll see, I guess. Okay, there's a pop-up. That partially might be what it is. I think Supreme Verdict is what we want. Oopsie. Oopsie. Da, 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 da. Yeah, just mana efficient this way. Yeah, but that doesn't actually deal with this. Dang it, man. This mana is just so freaking awkward. guess I have to Blast Zone 2 and get rid of the Spreading Seas, but that also gets rid of my Lethal Blight. Probably worth it. I guess I should have put Loris to hand. No. Yeah, I should have put Loris to hand. What was I thinking? Juicing these up little by little could be good, though. Okay. We have to try to hit Shark Typhoon, there's just no other way. Okay. At least we have our Ratchet Bomb on 0 for some help. I probably should have put Lures back to hand again too. I'm just not playing at my best, but juicing these up does do something though. It does do something. I have to use this to get this away. Get Loris back to my hand. I have 2 Shark Typhoons. Little Teferi is not as bad of a deal. This also would give them a 5/5, which is more scary. I'm still making okay plays. I mean, like, I definitely have made a lot of misplays, but at least making okay plays. Please, no Supreme Verdict. As long as it's not Supreme Verdict, I think I'm in okay shape. They instantly are playing something. Okay. I could play Gatekeeper of Malachar. I'm gonna play Ratchet Bomb. Let's do this first. See what they got. Oh, definitely Prismatic Ending. Okay. I'm gonna lead off with this. I'll counter, that's fine. And then I'd put Gatekeeper back. They had a lot of mana. I'm still gonna try to do this next turn. Yeah, so if that was a mistake, for some reason I thought they were tapped out, but they weren't. Okay, well, Ratchet Bomb for the win. I probably should have let off on this. Okay, finally, match 2. I had a mulligan the first hand, no lands, and we're up against Dredge, but we've got we took Thrilling Discovery, and then we just drew into Nihil Spellbomb, so I think we're pretty good. Obviously, they were on the play. We let off on Inquisition, took Thrilling Discovery. They let on this. Then we responded with Inquisition. Then they played Necromoeba, and it's like it is what it is. I kind of want to. Now let's try to use Hive of the Eye Tyrant to take care of that. That's the last card in their hand is going to be Golgari Thug. I don't think we want that in their graveyard. Or we want that in their hand rather for Turok, maybe. It's a better way to put it. That's a zombie. Dang it. It's just random zombies here and there that. But I mean, if you think about it, if this was a this was Sun and Edict, I would have just sacrificed an Archweba too. Okay. Nice. Probably block the Prized Amalgam if we can. Alright, well, we need to take that out of their graveyard, and we need to serve for some damage. I guess we also could have Cling to Dust, but Cling to Dust I think is... nope. He's got Menace. So we got 2 Nihil Spellbombs, I'm not too worried about sending these to the graveyard. That was a mistake though to tap like that. There's literally no reason to do that. I'm gonna offer the trade, and I'll tell you why. Because I got Luris waiting in the wings, that's why. At least taking down Dredge pretty easily. Charbelcher can probably replace Lithophone Blade. That just doesn't really do anything in this matchup. Yeah, this matchup is almost designed though to beat Dredge. You've got hands down the most graveyard hate in the main deck out of any version. Alright. Well, Playing the Dust is nice, but I don't think I can keep a hand solely based on this. Really isn't much else going for it. Yeah, that's way better. And we'll keep. Victim at Night is cool, but as we saw last game, actually, you know what? We don't need Necromantia. That's what it is. No, they got Leyline of Sanctity. Oh, or not. Okay. Good. Leyline of Sanctity is our worst nightmare. We have to play this out, even if they kill it. It can take down their graveyard with it. I think that's fine. That alone is something we can live with. So we can crack draw a card. Yeah, still don't need to crack it just yet. Let's see what they are working with. Not having two of these out could be a mistake, but we'll see. That's going to trigger a cascade of lots of other things. The Silver Moat's Gruul, all of these things, so... Alrighty. I just drew that Cathartic Reunion, that's fine. Yeah, I'll crack. Come on, Loris. That would be good under most normal circumstances, but we actually don't want those cards in their graveyard. We want them in their hand. Which is maybe why I should have taken Turok out, but I'm not sure what I would have put in. They play Stinky. Alrighty. Sure. Okay. Alright, they've had enough. Okay, match 3. Yeah, okay, match 3. Yeah, alright. Let's see how this goes. Ooh, this is a little bit sassy. But you know, I know this seems like heresy, but I'm going to keep, because if you think about it, at least we're not necessarily going to get super flooded anytime soon and double cling to dust. With Luris, I am, unless it's Hammer Time, which it easily could be, if it's any other Luris deck, I suspect that there will be lots of instant sorceries and fetch lands hitting the graveyard. Some Luris, I mean some Hammer Time decks play fetch lands too. But yeah, I suspect a lot of stuff will be hitting the graveyard. But if not, we've got our handy dandy Inquisition here to get the ball rolling. We could always exile our own Inquisition, or the card we take. Let's see. Yeah, so this is so they got double Thoughtseize. Down in the lock, Dragon Race Channeler. You know what? Let's take Mishra's Bauble. I know that seems weird, but the reason is that I want them to continue to be mana screwed. This and the Lithiform Blight, it could mana fix them, but it could also result in them taking a lot of damage. Of course, I can also see an argument to taking the DRC because, you know, they took our removal spell. But let's take the Bauble because, yeah. All right. I also don't particularly like taking Thoughtseize because it does damage them, and like their life total is a resource. All right, that's fine. Yeah, I can see that being. Instant sorcery land. Yeah, they got another Thoughtseize, so let's just take the land. Okay. Yeah, I kind of want. Yeah, let's just discard Lithiform Blight. Take it to -2. Another DRC. I think we'll take the. I know I didn't want to take the Thoughtseize, but it is proactive, you know, if you think about it. And it is 1 mana.
Yeah, I'll take that. Alrighty. Plus, you never know. Maybe they don't. Maybe the next land they draw doesn't produce blue. Maybe they draw another Blood Crypt or a swamp or something. I don't know. Seems unlikely, but you never know. All right. Okay. So that can, in fact, produce the mana they need. Now I'm wishing I took down a lock, but anyway. I'm gonna hit this. Yeah. And this can produce black, thankfully, so I think we hit this before they can draw on a lock, or maybe we do want them to draw on a lock. Although that's going to cause us to become a 3-3, so maybe not. Yeah, let's just do this. Alrighty. Hopefully they tap out for some reason. Okay. Alright, that's fine. There's another reason maybe we should have left Thoughtseize in their hand. Alright, let's just draw some cards maybe at end of turn. Either through Cling to Dust or through but I like this because this also holds up against Ragged Dashing. I think this is actually Grixis Death Shadow. Oh, they just give up. That's odd. What was our second match again? I forget. Yeah, geez, I'm drawing a blank on our second match. Whatever it was 2-0. So Collective Brutality certainly can be good. Okay, here's the thing about Lithiform Blight. I know this card looks bad. Actually, it is bad. If they had like utility land like Den of the Bugbear, it could be just what the Doctor ordered. But in this deck, Ratchet, I think it's going to be hard to argue that Ratchet Bomb isn't the far superior card in this particular matchup, and everything else I think pretty much checks out. So let's go. And we did see Urborg pull its weight. It turned our Blast Zone into a Black Source, so we can Victim of Night. Now, of course, if we were playing, say, Infernal Grasp or Sudden Edict, then we wouldn't have needed that. But it is a little nice. And the reason why I moved back to Victim of Night is like Life Loss is definitely a something against like Murktide, Burn, and even Hammer Time to some extent. Like every point of life does matter. Also, again with the Castle Locthwain, and like there just really aren't that many. There aren't that many zombies, vampires, or werewolves that see play. And if you think about it, a good chunk of the zombies and vampires are kind of recursive anyway, like Bloodghast or like you know, I don't know, but like yeah, Bloodghast or stuff like that. I guess yeah, or like Gravecrawler or something. I mean, yeah, there are non-recursive ones, but like a lot of the ones that see play, not necessarily in like okay, we'll definitely keep, not necessarily like dedicated tribal decks, but a lot of the vampires and zombies that see play like outside of at least a dedicated tribal deck. I'm gonna hold up for Cling to Dust. But anyway, yeah, like a lot of them are recursive anyway. There are some werewolves, especially with obviously the new Innistrad coming out. There are some werewolves and such that aren't necessarily recursive. And obviously from the old Innistrad, there was like something, I forget what it's called. Yeah, it's fine. Huntfield of the Felge or something, I forget. But like the format of 2/2 gains 2 life, green and red. When no player casts a spell, like it flips, and then it becomes like a 4/4, like Ravager of the Fells or something. It deals 2 damage to any target when it flips, kind of thing. Like that card, not gonna lie, it kind of sucks if Victim of Night can't hit. That card I haven't seen that card a ton. But admittedly, I mean, like, this hits Loris, and the main thing about Victim of Night as opposed to like Sudden Edict, because make no mistake, Sudden Edict's pretty good. The main thing about Sudden Edict is that Sudden Edict, it's not so great against Hammer Time, you know. All right, it's kind of so-so against Hammer Time. All right, I guess I will play this out. Oh, they spell pierce me. Don't spell pierce my bro. You know, that don't tase me bro meme. Okay. Could Ragged Ash me. Could happen. But they could also Ragged Ash with like Darn to Lock backup anyway. Could be. Could happen. So, you know. Okay, that's not a Ragged Ash. Alrighty. I probably want to hit my land drops. Let's see. Yeah, I definitely do want to hit my land drops. Okay. I guess sometimes you can't do that. In order to be mana efficient, I think I have to do this. And I think I have to play this. This does give me Drawn in a Lock insurance, which is nice. Unless they play Spell Snare. And even if they, unless they play like Spell Snare in addition to Drawn in a Lock, I may be able to Gatekeep next turn. We'll see. I've got our OGs and the card. Swamp. Okay, cool stuff. Alrighty. Well, let's do this. And then I'll probably just crack it. Well, we'll see though. See if they got any Drawn in the Locks. Spell Pierce. Don't Spell Pierce me, bro. Don't spell pierce me, bro. They spell pierce me, bro. Alright, well, I'm gonna still hold this up. Yeah, let's do this. Unless I draw another land, it didn't necessarily matter that I missed. Okay. They're probably going to take Gatekeeper. I would if I were them. Got out of 4, man. That's living life on the edge. Yeah, I don't know why this is taking so long. It's pretty obvious they're going to take Gatekeeper. Okay. I'm genuinely concerned that they have Spell Pierce. I mean, Spell Snare. Otherwise, I'm not sure that I understand the logic behind taking Victim at Night as opposed to Gatekeeper. I mean, it could just be a misplay. It definitely could. Trying to see like the difference. I think you see a little more on the bottom.
Yeah, you see a little more on the bottom here. Okay. Just need a little bit of insurance because this Death Shadow kind of scares me. I don't want to take 9 damage if possible, but if we do, it is what it is. Okay, you know what? I mean, fine. We took... Let's see, hopefully they don't put a land to the bottom. Either way, though, we will get a 2-for-1. Take 9 damage. I mean, take 10 damage. Well, okay then. Alright, well there was a lag spike right before the victory screen, so... Alright, cool stuff. Okay, well, match 4. Alright, pretty decent mixer mix. Mixy mix. Pretty decent mixy mix. Okay. Okay, Raggy Van, Raggy Taggy. Alrighty. I guess I have to get inquisitive. Out of all these, I think the Seasoned Pyromancer is the most dangerous long-term prospect here. Alrighty, just a swamp, that's fine. Probably play Tarmogoyf, or, okay. Alright, that's not too bad. I think we have to, yeah, I don't think they have any instants or sorceries in their graveyard, so... Man, though, if I hit Tarmogoyf, I mean, next turn I could Cling to Dust and, it's a little risky. Yeah, I just think this is ultimately too risky. Let's pay attention to what we draw next turn. I mean, it's a difference of only 1 damage, but put an extra treasure token and whatever we have off the top. Okay, that's a little nasty. Okay, well, we get to do what we want anyway, which is nice. We could take Seasoned Pyromancer, actually. That's probably not bad. Let's see, they might tick up in order to get the tokens, in which case we can respond. Also, we might be able to respond to the Ren and 6 ability, too, maybe. This could be good. Yeah, and I really like the way I wouldn't lose 2 life from Victim of Night, but admittedly, Sudden Edict
is basically the same thing. But remember, there is the Hammer Time matchup where we need to be able to pinpoint a certain creature that's going to get the hammer. Ah, they're going to do it. So I'm going to do this right now. Just bam. I don't want them to get the tokens. Okay. I don't mind that too much. I have a feeling that they were going for the tokens, but that could be a mistake. They could be going for Bloodbraid Elf. It's also possible, I guess. Ooh. Alright, this is a little bit challenging here. Yeah. It's kind of like one of our mono-red Chandra decks, just with green. I mean, Tarmogoyf and Ren 6 didn't really change how that would play out that much. I think Lithofoam Blight actually could be very good. Yeah, because it just like Abundant Growth or whatever it is, it attaches the ability to land. So this could be actually a good way to get around Blood Moon. You know, Collective Brutality is good, but Ratchet Bomb's another way to get around Blood Moon. And I think that's going to be that. Not bad. Keep. This time I have an answer to turn 1 Ragavan. I also have Inquisition for turn 1 Ragavan, or First Season Pyromancer. Why on earth are they bringing Ancient Grudge? I guess I should not have Ratchet Bomb, because if we didn't bring in Ratchet Bomb, then Ancient Grudge just kind of sucks really bad, like really bad. All right, well, Utopia Sprawl happens to line up very poorly with Lithoform Blight. All right. Unfortunately, that partially interferes with my anti-Blood Moon plan, but, you know, still. Yeah, let's do this to play around Blood Moon. No time like the present as far as just getting value with this, right? I mean, yes, they can bolt, but I mean, still. It's still just a 2-for-1.
Alrighty. Okay, that's not bad. They lost their 2-for-1 potential there. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to turn on, what's it called? Let's do this. I need a way to trigger Revolt somehow. Oh, you know what? We can angle to block with the Hive, and or we can actually angle to attack. If we attack, we can take out the Seasoned Pyromancer. All right, and then next turn we maybe can play Laris into. Okay, wasn't expecting that. Yeah, that's fine. Because check this out. I guess this can't go to the graveyard. I guess we'll still play it. I guess they can Ancient Grudge it. Guess we should have held on to it. Alright, at least this will turn on a... Gotta smack Karn. There's just no other way. We gotta go for the win. There's just no other way. Alright, Slick Willy. I need to be able to hold up Victim of Night.
Alright, so I am going to end a turn, Cling to Dust the Ragavan. I think gaining the extra life is very critical. I would go for Utopia Sprawl with Lithiform Blight, but I think I just gotta go for the win. Alright, well I can kill both Sky Sovereign and Fury. I don't think they have Ephemerate. Ready. Alright. Alright, very nice. Very nice. I can't believe there was a time when I didn't have Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Just having a manland like this just in the mix is just so mixy good. Just mix it up. Extra threats. Righty, not bad. Not bad at all. You know, Necromentia naming Season Pyromancer actually might not be half bad, but I don't know. It's probably too cute. Or naming Karn. Because Karn single-handedly actually kind of wrecks havoc. Could be better than Lithiform Blight, but that Lithiform Blight slows them down, which is also good. Could be better than Inquisition. I mean, Inquisition is good, but it doesn't like slow them down per se. Nihil Spellbomb might be unnecessary too, actually. No, but it's good with Luris. Okay, Ratchet Bomb can definitely go because again, with both with Karn and their dumb ancient grudge, which I don't know why that's frickin' in the deck. And Collective Brutality is just only good against an undashed Ragavan, and I guess a Seasoned Pyromancer. Do I really do it? Do I really frickin' put Necromentia? I guess you put 2 Necromencias, 2 Pithing Needles. Pithing Needle for the Karn, Necromentia for the Oh, but Pithing Needle kind of undermines the point of having Ratchet Bomb. Well, let's try to undo this before it's too late. I overthought things. Alright. I guess no. Well, maybe they take out Alright. Okay, Necromentia and Pithing Needle. Well, Necromentia named Seasoned Pyromancer, and well, that's going to be good next turn. Hopefully they don't land a turn 2 Seasoned Pyromancer. I want to build a Necromentia it. Let's Inquisition first, shall we? Okay, I guess you got it, pal. Oh man, Karn the Great Creator. Well, I guess we can preemptively Pithing Needle. Yeah, take Utopia Sprawl. Okay, that could be good for next turn. Karn the Great Creator. I guess suddenly I do look like a genius for bringing in Pithing Needle. Definitely gonna Victim of Night. Should I drop another Pithing Needle? What else would I be naming if not Insurance against Karn? I don't know. Oh yeah, Chandra. There we go. Of course, both of these get undone very easily by Ancient Grudge, but okay. Turok. This might be good. I probably should block. Yeah, I don't want to die. I don't want to be in die to lightning bolt range. I have enough cards in my graveyard for Cling to Dust. Now this could be dangerous, but see, land, instant, creature. I guess both of us have like something in our graveyard now. Alright, I'm gonna try to block with Hive, which sucks, but we'll see. Which also lets me Cling to Dust. Okay, that's not half bad. But it's going to actually grow because instant, sorcery, creature, land, and then artifact. Let's gain some life. I guess. Oh, that doesn't do jack, actually. Alright, well let's Cling to Dust. Probably gain some life, I guess. I forgot about Luris. Actually, that was pretty good. That was actually not bad. Okay, that's what I was angling for. So wow, the way I'm playing actually makes it look like I've planned everything out very carefully, but I've been a little bit shooting from the hip, to be honest. But I'd like to think that if I thought through, if I thought everything through perfectly, it may have been more or less. Oh, dang it! Oof, can't target. Ah, man, Veil of Summer. But actually, I guess I can play Luris, and then hopefully they don't have another Veil of Summer. Man, it's such a stupid card. Holy shit, man. Holy shit, this is a piece of shit, man. Holy moly. Uh, well, I could recur, you know. Please, not another. I guess I could do this, and maybe this is a little bit safer to, yeah, let's do it. Thank goodness it says opponent. I guess I could have foreseen this. Well, maybe I'm not dead yet. Oh, we go down to 1. Well, see, this though gives me the ability to gain life by blocking. Of course, they're going to. I may want to double block. At least I'll kill 1. So I need 1, 2. So I need all 4 of these. I think I can lithoform blight my Marsh Flats actually. Yeah, who says that card was useless? Well, that kind of made it redundant and somewhat useless, but. Living in fear of Stomp or Lightning Bolt. Definitely Seasoned Pyromancer. Or I could name Lightning Bolt or Stomp. Well, okay, bud. Jeez, man, that card makes me upset. Oh my god. Start clinging to dust. Can I? No, not yet. Gaining life is better because it sets me up for more Castle Locthwaining. I would start trying to gain, but actually every point of life is so super valuable. Let's see. Okay, Gatekeeper time, definitely. I just gained my card advantage just through these outlets, instead of losing life. I don't want to lose to Stomp plus something else dumb. But I also do want to threaten lethal next turn. Okay, we knew this day would come. Alright, well at least we can double Blast Zone.
still crack this, can't I? No. I can crack this. No, I can't. The only problem is they can flash it back twice, but they have to block both. See, if I attack, they double block both. I maybe get one Seasoned Pyromancer, they attack with Ragavan, and then maybe I die to Bolt. But maybe I top deck something good. On the other hand, I could block. See, I have to do this, otherwise they're gonna flashback both Seasoned Pyro tokens, and then I'm toast. Okay, I'm glad they didn't just block 1 and 1. So I've got a chip and a chair. Well, they can't play it actually. Not yet, at least. Well, actually, yeah, they can. Alrighty. Oh. This is nasty. This is nasty. This is nasty. Nasty mana screw. I mean, mana flood. Nasty. Hopefully they didn't draw blood. Lightning bolt. I really could have used that. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, maybe I live. Maybe I live. Okay, maybe I should have, if they have got another, if they have another whatchamacallit, then I deserve it. I should have played this on my turn. Okay. Stomp.
Okay, well, match 5. And I just want to compliment Wizards on what good design Veil of Summer is. It's a very well designed card. Yeah, because I mean, we don't want mono black decks to run amok, right? I mean, because mono black decks were completely dominating Modern until Veil of Summer was printed. And I mean, to be fair, you had a little bit of actually Jund was also up there dominating everything before it was printed. And Standard, I think too. Somebody could correct me on that, but all kinds of black decks were completely dominating Standard as well. Okay, so this is Belcher. Kind of needs some kind of interaction, like, really soon. Oh, I should have. I was not expecting him to play something like that. Oh, that could have made a difference. Gee. Well, if I lose this, I get what I deserve. Yeah, I was not expecting him to put an instant in the graveyard. I don't know why I wasn't. Oh man, the versions with Field of Ruin actually would be much better. I could have maybe taken that with Collective Brutality if I... to turn Cling to Dust. That's why you should really always yield until end of turn, not yield to your turn. Oh, I could have once again... 'I guess maybe this does something. I don't know. I mean, probably they just... Oh, they didn't. Five cards in their hand. I guess they play Manamorphose, right? Or recross the paths again. I don't know, maybe Turok does something, I don't know. Oh man, this has just been so whacked. Anyway, whatever. Double recross the path, that'd be kind of nice. Recross the path and Manamorphose.
Fortunately, recross the path is kind of like a source of infinite card advantage for them. I don't know why they didn't just recross the path. There must be something I'm missing. I'm sure there is. Alrighty. Well, I drew 3 cards. I mean, I gained +2/+3. I mean, that's got to count for something. Spoiler alert, it won't. Or maybe it will. I don't know. Seems unlikely, but maybe that was just kind of a random thing. Unfortunately, this hand is dog you know what. Obviously discarded all these cards. I mean, they gotta. I mean, but they might. I'm living in magical Christmas land, thinking maybe they don't have something, but or that somehow Cling to Dust interacts, or any of this creature removal. Well, Pithing Needle, hey. Oh, Necromentia. I don't know, maybe we got a better chance than it seems. Fatal Push does jack shit. Victim of Night does jack shit. Like the Ice would do jack shit. Ratchet Bomb, at least I can play out of my hand. Although I doubt this is kind of just a filler. This doesn't actually do shit. Unless they actually happen to have Empty the Warrens, which would be quite a change, and something I'm not used to them having. All right. I mean, they have Empty the Warrens in Legacy, but not so much in Modern. Well, this hand does jack shit. Hey, this hand's got Pith and Needle. That means it's got a chance, and it's got Necromentia. Although they might have whatchamacallit, they might have Leyline of Sanctity, so we might need to use Blast Zone to clear out the Leyline of Sanctity, or 2 of our Ratchet Bombs. It's possible. Guess we just play out Pithing Needle. I mean, I don't see how this necessarily catches them off guard. Okay, I know this risks mana fixing them, but I gotta draw a card. Okay. Okay, I mean that's something. At least they can't. Bail us somewhere else anymore. Well, just in case they can somehow, what do you call it, got Ameria, Shatter Skull Smashing, Strike at Rich. Pact of the Titan. I guess Pact of the Titan is kind of a alternate win con. And Ameria, I guess, kind of is too. Alright, well anyway, I guess that's that. And yes, they got a token. I know. We got the gatekeeper to mop that up at least. I just don't want them having that Charbelcher sitting around if they can somehow deal with Needle, which it doesn't look like they can this match. They will probably bring in something next match, but I don't know, it is what it is. Alrighty. Veil of Summer would actually force me to have to sacrifice my own gatekeeper. Oi. Probably start flashing back Strike at Rich for an Ameria, which costs 7 mana. It's actually not unthinkable. Well, this is a sorcery, so let's do that. Two, 2 for 5. Okay. That's 7 mana. We don't need to worry about. See, I'm a little worried that they might have Shatter Skull Smashing. I don't want them to kill Luris before I maybe get some value. And if they win with that Ameria in their hand, it's going to be embarrassing. I got a feeling embarrassment is about to start.
I don't know why they needed to lose a life from Blight. Okay, this is good. So I'm gonna do this. Then I'm going to attack, and they may actually not want to block. We'll see. Okay. I guess I'll finish it off. Escalate with 2 modes. Actually 3 mode, yeah, 2 modes. I don't think Ironclad Feet. No, that could still be useful. For like another Emeria, whatever. Well, that was a surprisingly sloggy Belcher match. Suddenly, Ratchet Bomb doesn't look so useless, does it? But there's no way it replaces any of these cards. Yeah, there's no way it replaces any of these cards. Alrighty. Alright, Loris. Oh, we got Necromentia, but I am not confident that we're going to live to be able to cast it. Same thing here. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that makes these this is one of the things that's challenging. I kind of need Necromentia, but I also need at least like 1 discard spell or something. Well, I don't know. Let's see what the opponent's up to. If they mulligan or anything. I mean, they mulligan to 6 cards. Guess they're deciding to mulligan to 5 or not. I can do better, I think. That is slightly better. The only real purpose of Nihil Spellbomb, in my humble opinion, is to draw into other stuff. But I kind of have my exact progression here. And one of the things I like about Blast Zone is that, in theory, I can kind of get up to dealing with Ley Line of Sanctity. Because it doesn't look like it'll come to that. Well, only those were Inquisitions. I could have played both of them by now, but it is what it is. Hopefully they don't go off on turn 2. I mean, if not, I tried. You know, I can't mulligan to. I mean, I couldn't have mulligan further. Like, okay. Well, hopefully they need at least one more card and they didn't get it. Okay, kind of seems like maybe they didn't get it. I don't think escalating really serves much of a purpose. Do we get a Veil of Summer right here? Do we eat it? Do we eat a Veil of Summer? Too bad we can't take. Yeah, maybe recross the paths, right? Beligad, Recovery, return to equipment, give it to your hand. Desperate Ritual, but Desperate Ritual could, could they even? They could put out a Belcher next turn, and that's what I'm worried about. You know what, maybe I'm not so worried about recross the paths, because it's going to be very dangerous letting them have it, but what I'm really worried about is that they draw a Belcher, and then they, like, belch it out next turn, because I can't deal with that. Like, if it's in play, I can't deal with it. Notably, these cards come into play tapped. So they can't actually play out. They can't both draw a Belcher and play it out. So I mean, yeah, they can play recross the paths, but I'm not sure they can stop me from necromentioning the Belcher, unless they draw a Veil of Summer, which would suck. But I've limited their outs, because as long as they had that, if their sideboard if their configuration is still the same as last game, which I doubt it, based on how much time it took. But I don't think there's really anything else really to do here. They got to recross the paths. I mean, it's just a given. Okay, yeah, that's just a given. 2 cards left in their hand. Trying to make some mental note of what these all are before I put them away. Pyromancer's Ascension, okay. That's definitely new. Veil of Summer, not surprising. So the last card, 2 cards in their hand. Well, actually, I guess I can just, yeah. Oh, but never mind. You know, the last 2 cards in their hand is Beligad, Sanctuary, and Unknown. I mean, I saw Pyromancer's Ascension, but I'm not sure how that translates into a win, unless, like, they're going to multiply their Spike Field Hazards or something. I guess they could multiply their Amirias. Maybe Mary Ratchet Bomb, though, is the ace in the hole there. If I can draw one of them. Got 2 of them in my deck. Suddenly, maybe I'm not in that bad of a position. I fully think I was in the right, though, to get this Collective Brutality. I mean, it kind of looks like, unless I'm mistaken, maybe that Belcher was on the top of their library, and if it was, they would have just won if I didn't take that Desperate Ritual. Now, of course, let's be real here. I might have missed something. I thought I looked at all their cards, and I thought all the new card I saw was Pyromancer's Ascension, but maybe I'm missing something. Let's see here. Yeah, Necromantia is absolutely essential in this matchup. No question about it. All right, be nice to finish this off with a strong 3-2. I think I'm going to put this to the bottom. Did they put Manamorphose to the bottom? Yeah, they did. All right, it's now or never. It's do or die. Let's not choose Goblin Chariot. Three Amarias, gotta watch out for that. Just for Ritual, Force of Vigor. It's not really important anymore. Feet, Metamorphose, Pact of Negation, Pact of the Titan. You know, that's a thing. Heretic Ritual, Pyromancer's Ascension. Not exactly sure what that's gonna do. Cross the Forge the Soul, Skull Smashing. That doesn't hit face, thankfully. They could take one of my creatures. Gotta keep that in mind. It's Field Hazard. Gonna kill me with that with Pyromancer's Ascension. Strike it rich. Turn to a Symbiosis. Really have any creature, I don't think. Valakut Awakening. Veil of Summer. Alright. Took all the Charbelchers, right? Okay. Belagad and, yeah. Alright. Okay, it is what it is. I'm going to hold Gatekeeper in case of Pact of the Titan or Emeria. Seems unlikely, but you never know. Plus, I actually literally can't cast it. Well, I guess I can cast it without the kicker, but... I mean, there is an argument to be made. So I already know their whole library, so I don't want to get distracted by this. I suppose I could have actually made a watch out for something I didn't notice there, which would have meant they drew it, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe I do just put the Gatekeeper out because... No, but they need a red mana. They need a red mana if they're gonna play. But they might have set it up so they have red mana, then Reforge the Soul. Yeah, Reforge the Soul into probably Emeria would be their best bet. And see, the problem with that is then I shuffles my hand in. Thankfully, I get to fire off a Collective Brutality. Maybe ideally I draw Urborg and then I can, or just any untapped black source, and then I can Brutality Gatekeeper. Kind of leaning towards that now, even though I said I was going to hold on to Gatekeeper. Just because I feel like their best ticket with only 2 cards in their hand to win is a Reforge the Soul off the top. Well, Inquisition of Kozilek could be good. Yeah, I'm going to put it on top. Play another Belagad. This is a sorcery. Turn Timber. See, the thing about this is this isn't actually. Yeah, let's just do this. Let's do. Belagad recovery, I think. There's a lag spike. I wonder if that's a concession lag. I doubt it. They look like the player that would fight on. Oh, never mind. Okay. Well, hey, I mean, you know, after some disappointing leagues with the previous version, you know, the Obosh and the Companionless version, we go 3-2 with the budget version, and lately, now of course, before actually this league, those the Companionless and the Obosh version both felt very strong, and they actually do kind of feel very strong. I think I might have just been, I really was probably just not playing at my best. I was also probably not playing at my best here though too, so it does kind of seem like ironically the budget version might be a little better positioned. It has a lot of removal. Those cling to dust actually very valuable. I mean, I think the core is put together pretty well. Anyway, let's get to the post league wrap up. Okay, post league wrap up. Okay, well, you know, yeah, I mean, hey, that was if that Belcher game was not a showing for why Necromensch is in the deck, I don't know what is. Maybe we're actually not as cold to Belcher as I thought, because it kind of turns into Necromensch is kind of a one-card combo for us against them, if we can get to it. So it kind of turns into a match of can we actually disrupt them long enough to land a Necromentia, and maybe, I mean, you know, I guess if they're packing like 4 Leyline Sanctity and they mulligan into it, we could have trouble. Then again, we do have Blast Zone, which actually can ratchet up over like probably 2 turns and take it out, which of course they could kill us in those 2 turns, but maybe their hand is awkward enough that, you know, mulliganing for Leyline, that maybe that doesn't happen. Of course, they could be a Magical Christmas land and drop like a Leyline and have the perfect hand, which does happen sometimes. But the more we force them to kind of have the nuts, the better we are. So I don't know. Anyway, the deck pretty much did what we wanted it to do. I think we could have probably done at least a little bit better. Like Gruul Midrange, I think there were some spots where maybe I could have played around Veil of Summer a little better. I kind of was not expecting the first one. Maybe the second one I should have expected, and maybe we kind of misplayed by also walking into the second one, but I don't know. Usually they don't bring in more than like 2 or so, but anyway, but I guess, you know, maybe they saw both of them. Azorius control, I know I misplayed somewhere there, but I just can't put my finger on it, but that is winnable. Obviously Liliana's kind of a haymaker we don't have access to in this version, but you know, we do have Turok. We do have Hive of the Eye Tyrant, which can, with discard and stuff, can sometimes pester them surprisingly well. Yeah, and of course, that Gruul mid-range deck. If we could have just landed that, see, that's also why I brought in 2 Necromenchas. Is just a lot of times they're in a spot where the only thing that saves them is Seasoned Pyromancer, and well, we all know how that turned out. Which is exactly why I was hoping to name that, and why they obviously Veil of Summered that. Anyway, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I don't necessarily know that this version is better positioned or better than the other versions, but I think it is kind of easier to play, at least for me. I don't know about it for everybody. It is more budget, which is always nice. That's actually a big plus. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Just clearly, this version has a lot of going for it, and the fact that it's able to put up at least a winning record is I think not bad. And man, it's just that like the red decks kind of get all these free wins with Blood Moon, which this deck doesn't have. Believe it or not, the red deck actually I think is well, actually red decks usually are kind of easier to pilot, but yeah, this deck is definitely a little more tricky. But it can get there. If you like Jund and stuff, you're probably not necessarily a stranger to tricky plays, knowing when to Inquisition, knowing when to hold up Fatal Push, trying to set up a Turok, not necessarily running into a counterspell, trying to weigh whether to play it or wait for a discard spell to clear the way. You probably know all those dynamic if you're used to playing something like Jund or Rakdos midrange or something. If you are a fan of those types of decks, I mean, I welcome you to give this a try. Actually, some players who picked this up have told me that they haven't been able to do well with it, but I think those players are usually playing more like mono red decks, or yeah, at least one player was like a kind of dedicated mono red player, which I get it. A lot of people like my mono red content, so I think when I have other decks, they're interested in trying those too because they're interested in my content. But if you don't necessarily have a lot of experience playing black, the same kind of skill set you develop by playing a lot of mono red is not going to necessarily automatically transition over to this deck. So I think like if somebody like Aspiring Spike picked this up, I think he would probably do better. And actually, I know that also because Grim Flayer, another YouTuber, check out his YouTube channel by the way, the Grim Flayer, excellent content. I used to watch his channel a heck of a lot before I even started my own channel. Or actually, I started my channel a long time ago, but not with the intention to make content. Just kind of made a channel. I forget why. Maybe to like stuff and I don't know, just YouTube stuff. But long before I actually started uploading stuff to my channel, and I wasn't just some random channel sitting on YouTube with 0 subscribers and 0 videos. But anyway, yeah, I recommend checking out Grim Flayer, and he picked up a different variation of this deck, and he did very well, if I remember correctly. I can't remember if he went 4-1 or 3-2. He definitely had a winning record. Yeah, he played it very well. Obviously, sometimes bad breaks happen. But my impression was that he did very well, and maybe could have even done better. But I think like the reason why Grim Flayer was able to do well with this deck is because he has extensive experience playing BG Rock, and I even kind of joked with him that I'm like, yeah, it's not a surprise that you're doing well with the deck because this is basically BG Rock without the G. You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, kind of is if you think about it in a way. This is kind of the fundamental black green X kind of mid range deck, but just without the green and without the X. I'm trying to prove that you can play Jund without the black or the green. I mean not the black. Sorry, that would be something. Well, I guess in a way, my mono red deck is kind of Jund without the black or the green. Now that I think about it, yeah. So my red deck is setting out to prove that Jund doesn't need black or green, and I guess this deck is setting out to prove that Jund doesn't need the red or the green. So. But I don't think you can play Jund with just green. I will say that much. But well, anyway, I've probably been rambling on long enough. I'm satisfied enough with this result. Might go back to Oboshin for a bit. I mean, I obviously went on a little bit of a trophy tear, and now the other trophy leaders have pullen even further ahead. So if I have any hope of actually becoming trophy leader, I may just have to jam the heck out of the mono red stuff, one or more of the mono red builds. But I'll try to get some mono black content here and there, maybe some of my other decks. But my mono black deck is one of my most fun decks, at least for me to play. So this might be one of my go-to decks to splice in to mix it up. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. Until next time, thank you everybody for watching, and until next time.